Hello everyone, welcome to our channel I Teach. I am starting a new series today, quick revision series, and in this, first of all, I will begin with the history, and in history, modern India. In this series, I will try to give maximum information in a very short time, which will be very useful for the exams point of view, especially prelims. First of all, let me discuss what is history. History is the recorded or written past of the humanity. If not written, it is prehistory. Let's talk about Karl Marx's contribution in the study of the history. Scientific contribution of history from him. The economics is the base of civilization. It is known as material dialecticism. What is it is known as? Weber's contribution. Weber's contribution is also significant, though in lesser amount, in civilization of history. Weber also utilized dialectics and developed dialecticism. There were interaction in between thesis and antithesis, which results in synthesis. Marx believed that Weber had used dialecticism in a wrong way. Marx says, before civilization, there were no classes. Only when there is surplus and civilization develops, then the classes, exploitation, discrimination, and categories of haves and have-nots emerge. In the medieval period, though exploitation continued, position of masters were taken up by feudal lords, and in places of slaves are the serfs. Serfs are better off than slaves. In the modern period, the position of feudal lords were taken up by the capitalist or bourgeois, and in places of serfs came the proletariat. In ancient, if we talk about, there were four main civilizations. These were Mesopotamian, Egyptian, Harappan, and Chinese civilization. Mesopotamian civilization were along the rivers of Tigris, Euphrates River Valley, and Egyptian civilization was along the Nile River Valley. Harappan civilization was along the Indus Saraswati, and the Chinese civilization was along the Honghe River in southern China. Ancient civilization mainly developed in Asia or nearby Asia and Eastern Africa. Then came classical civilization or regional empires. Greco-Roman civilization, Socrates, Plato, or Aristotle have talked about these. The earliest inscription found in Indian subcontinent other than Indus inscription is the Bahistun, Sindh province of Pakistan in 518 BC, Indian region, and making it satrapi or 18th province of Persian. Let's talk about in the world. Alexander took over the Persia, and after death of his empire was divided. Citizens of Rome ruled whole Europe plus West Asia plus North America. That was peak of classical civilization. Europe gave a death blow to the Roman Empire. Also, there were barbarian attacks. One portion of the Roman Empire redeveloped as Byzantine Empire or Istanbul in the medieval period. Kushan Empire set up by Cadphises, first from Central Asia to borders of China and India. His successor Kushan, the greatest Kushan king in India. Cadphises set up the Silk Route. Now the medieval period. It roughly is from 700 to 1500 AD. First 3 centuries, that the 700 to 100 AD, early Middle Ages, it was formative phase of feudalism, and from 1000 to 1300 AD, mature Middle Ages or the mature phase of feudalism, and from 1300 to 1500 AD, late Middle Ages or phase of feudalism decline. No European empire till then, only Byzantine Empire which was the offshoot of Roman Empire was there. Arabic Empire established by Prophet Muhammad, first Islamic king, expanded with Khalifa or Khalif in 632 and lasted till 1924. Kamal Pasha, first military commander, Turkish ruler of modern Turkey, became republic. Turkey was under Ottoman Turks. Ottoman Turks replaced Arabic Empire from 14th century and Mongol Empire. Genghis Khan, one of the largest single-handedly built by Chinese Genghis Khan. His successor Kublai Khan, contemporary to Muhammad bin Tughlaq. Delhi Sultan, who were the Turks, replaced by the Mughals. Delhi Sultans were replaced by the Turks, and Turks were replaced by the Mughals, who set up Mughal Empire. 75% Turks and 25% Mongolians blood were there in Mughals. During medieval period, Europe declined. Asia was not dormant. 75% Turk blood and 25% Mongolian blood among the Mughals. During the medieval period, Europe declined. Asia was not dormant. It had Arabic to Mongol Empire. Now let's talk about the modern period. From the late 13th century, East and West trade began. It revived the trade which led to the death of feudal system. In 15th century, suddenly the capture of Constantinople by the Ottoman Turks in 1453, it put pressure on Europeans to find alternative routes. They started taking life-threatening voyages into the high sea peninsula. Portuguese and Spanish took the lead. Portuguese reached the southern tip of Africa via Cape of Good Hope, and Vasco da da Gama reached India on 1498, that's 17th May 1498, and it marked the beginning of the European penetration in Indian subcontinent, and it marked the beginning of modern age in India, arrival of Vasco da Gama. Then further, the Portuguese established their control over Cochin, Goa, island of Salcete and Basaine, as well as island of Bombay. In the beginning of 17th century, that 1602, the Dutch East India Company was formed and it established their factories there, and they replaced the Portuguese. The Dutch were more interested in the Indonesian islands of the Java and Sumatra so as to procure spices from these places. The Dutch established their control over Pulicat and Nagapattinam and established their factories there. In Pulicat in 1610 and Nagapattinam in 1658. They also established their factories at Masuliputtnam in 1605 and Surat in 1658. The English East India Company was established as a group of merchants known as Merchants Adventurers in 1599. This company was given the power by the Queen of Britain to trade with the eastern countries for a period of 15 years. So the pact was only for 15 years, but this charter was extended for an indefinite period by James I of Britain on 31st December 1600. The first British East India Company sent a mission under Captain Hawkins to the court of Mughal Emperor, that's Jahangir, who was the son of Akbar. And in the chronological order, the mission sent by the Britishers, the first was the Captain Hawkins, and the second one was the Edward, and third one was the Sir Thomas Roe. Jahangir gave permission to establish a factory at Surat in 1612, but first factory of English East India Company was already established in 1611 at Masulipattnam. In 1662, there was a matrimonial alliance between the Prince Charles of Britain and Catherine of Braganza of Portugal. As a dowry price, the Portuguese gave the island of Bombay to the Prince of Britain. However, the island of Bombay was handed over to the English East India Company in 1668. Further, going to the eastern part of the India in 1639, Francis, a local ruler who was an administrator associated with the British East India Company, gave Madras on lease to the British East India Company. The English East India Company erected a fort at this place, which was named as Fort St. George. The penetration of the English East India Company to the eastern India was quite late in 1698. The British East India Company got 3 villages from a local ruler whose name was Azim-ud-Shan on lease. These 3 villages were Sultanati, Kalikata and Govindpur. These 3 villages were amalgamated into a single unit and a fort was constructed at this place, which came to be known as Fort St. Williams, our famous Fort St. Williams. In 1664, the French East India Company came and formed, and they established their first factory at Surat. Then they established their second factory at Masulipattnam in 1668. They were seen as the rivals to the Britishers, and the conflict arose in between the two. And the chronological order which we have studied till now comes that first came the Portuguese, then came the Dutch, then Britishers, and then French. So now moving to our second topic, the Carnatic Wars. These wars are very important, and in 3 to 4 years, one or two questions come from here also. The first Carnatic War, which was fought between the 1746 and 1748. This battle is known as the first battle of modern India between the native Indians and the foreign powers. The first Carnatic War was an extension of conflict between Britain and France in Europe in the Austrian War of Succession, which was going in Austria in between 1742 and 1748. This war came to an end in 1748 by the signing of the Treaty of Aix-la-Chapelle, that was signed on October 18, 1748. This treaty marked the end of conflict between the two trading companies in India as well. Here, one important thing is that the battle which was fought during the first Carnatic War is the Battle of Santhome. that was fought between the Anwaruddin, who was being supported by the Britishers, versus Chanda Sahib, who was being supported by the Dupleix. Dupleix was a French Governor General. In contrast to the reasons of the First Carnatic War, the reasons for the Second Carnatic War were provided by the political situations in India regarding who would be the successor of the Hyderabad state after the Nizamul Mulk, who was the founder of Hyderabad state and the Wazir or the Governor General of the Muhammad Shah, the Mughal emperor at Delhi. The French governor Dupleix decided to support the claim of Muzaffar Jung, and Dupleix was successful in installing Muzaffar Jung on the throne of Hyderabad. Dupleix deputed his trusted general Bassi in the court of Hyderabad. Muzaffar Jung died within a short period, and Bassi raised the next successor, Salabat Jung, as the Nawab of Hyderabad. Salabat Jung, in lieu of his support, gave 4 districts of Andhra, which was collectively known as Northern Sarkars. These 4 districts were collectively known as the Northern Sarkars, and the names of these districts are Mustafanagar, Alor, Rajmundry, Chikkakol. These developments were not acceptable by the British East India Company, and they started fight with the French East India Company, which marked the beginning of Second Carnatic War. And the duration of the Second Carnatic War was 1749 to 1754. The war came to an end by the signing of the Treaty of Pondicherry in 1754. Here, the important treaties which mark the end of the war are important, and the chronological order and the important battles are really very important from the exam point of view. So, 2 battles which were fought during the Second Carnatic War was the Battle of Amer, in which the Dupleix defeated English, and another battle was fought was Battle of Arenay in 1751. Here, Dupleix was defeated by Clive of Britain, and English captured Arcot, which was the capital of Carnatic. In the meantime, 7 years war of succession, 7 years war from the 1756 to 63 broke out in Europe between Britain and France. The reverberation of this struggle in Europe was seen even in India. This struggle marked the beginning of Third Carnatic War between British East India Company and the French East India Company in 1758. The decisive blow to the French East India Company was given by the British East India Company at the Battle of Wandiwash that was fought in 1760, in which English General Sir Eyre Coote, his name is very important, defeated the French officer Count de Lally. This marked the Bahadur Shah adopted strict or aggressive policies only against Banda Bahadur. Who was Banda Bahadur? Banda Bahadur was the first political ruler of Sikh community. However, Bahadur Shah couldn't defeat and subjugate Banda Bahadur in Punjab itself. Here, important extra information is Chura Manjat of Bharatpur, Rajasthan supported Bahadur Shah in his battle against Banda Bahadur, but to no avail. Bahadur Shah was succeeded by Jahandar Shah, whose reign was from 1712 to 1713. Jahandar Shah came to power with the help of active support of noble Zulfikar Khan. Zulfikar Khan abolished the discriminatory policy of jizya from Mughal Empire. So what was jizya? Jizya is a per capita yearly taxation historically levied in the form of financial charge on permanent non-Muslim subjects of a state governed by Islamic law in order to fund public expenditures of the state in place of zakat that Muslims are obliged to pay. So Jahandar Shah next was succeeded by the Farrukh Siyar as the later Mughal emperor. Farrukh Siyar came to power with the support of Sayyid brothers, or famously known as the Kingmakers, and their name were Abdullah Khan and Hussain Ali Khan. Hussain Ali Khan was younger one. These 2 brothers are also known as Kingmakers. Farrukh Siyar wanted to get rid of the Sayyid brothers, but Sayyid brothers proved to be too clever, and Sayyid brothers, with the help of support of Balaji Vishwanath, who was Maratha Peshwa, defeated and killed Farrukh Siyar. So Kingmakers were again victorious. After this, Muhammad Shah, who was famously known as the Muhammad Shah Rangila, was made the next Mughal emperor with the help of his Wazir Nizamul Mulk, or the founder of Hyderabad state. He ruled from 1719 to 1748. Here, in the meantime, due to the domestic problems, the later Mughal emperors couldn't give due attention to the northwest frontier province, as was the history of India from the time immemorial. These were northwest frontier province was always a point of contention. Whoever controlled better that region controlled India. As such, the Persian ruler Nadir Shah decided to attack India to extract wealth from India. And on 13th Feb 1739, the forces of Nadir Shah encountered the forces of Mughal Emperor and defeated Mughal emperors thoroughly. This was a decisive battle, and Nadir Shah took away the Kohinoor diamond from India and the jewel-studded peacock throne of Shah Jahan. He claimed his supremacy on all the areas lying west of river Indus, or popularly known as Trans-Indus area. The attack of Nadir Shah exposed the weaknesses of Mughal Empire for the succeeding invaders. Battle of Karnal was fought between the Nadir Shah and the Mughal Emperor Shah in this on 13 Feb 1739. Muhammad Shah was succeeded by the next Mughal Emperor Ahmad Shah, whose reign was from the 1748 to 54. He came to power with the help of his general Imadul Mulk. Imadul Mulk name is important as he established the Berar dynasty. Ahmad Shah was a weak ruler. General Imadul Mulk blinded Ahmad Shah and made Alamgir II, whose reign was 1754 to 58, the emperor. Soon he was also deposed by Imad al-Mulk and replaced by Shah Alam II. Shah Alam II was ruled from 1758 to 1806, and who was succeeded by the Akbar II. Akbar II, whose reign was from 1806 to 1834, Akbar II gave the title of Raja to Raja Ram Mohan Roy and asked him to go to Britain and plead for the net. Akbar II was replaced by Bahadur Shah Zafar from 1834 to 1862, and during his reign, the first battle of Indian independence of 1857 or revolt of 1857 was fought, and the journey continues.